Microorganisms are an essential part of the food industry as it widely used in the food preservation and food production. Microorganisms are utilized mainly in dairy products, fermented meats and bread. The food industry started to use microorganisms on the large scale for the food production for human health. As the world population increasing, the need for the food supply raises on high demand, so we must adapt to this new technique in producing such a nutritious and quality food. So microorganisms help in the modern food industry as it started to give such a huge positive impact on the food production too. Bacteria is derived from a Greek and a Latin word named bacteria, which means skin. And this microorganism in few micrometer in length and have a wide range of shapes such as oval, round, rhoda and spiral shapes. These bacteria act as decomposer recycling materials and it grows best at pH of 6.5 to 7.0. So one of the common bacteria that used in food production is Lactobacillus bacteria species. And one of the example of Lactobacillus bacteria species is lactic acid bacteria. So, lactic acid bacteria is a group of bacteria which will decompose lactose in milk products to lactic acid. Bacteria plays a significant role in the production of fermented foods such as fermented meats and also pickled vegetables. The lactic acid bacteria plays a significant role in the production of cheese. And it involves many processes and it starts with milk treatment, where the milk will be heated for the required temperature for pasteurization and let it to be cooled. The second process is acidification, where the lactic acid bacteria will decompose the lactose in milk product to lactic acid. And the lactic acid will help to coagulate the protein in milk. And it continues with the third process, which is coagulation, the conversion of liquid into a solid. Continue with the fourth process, which is pressing. The cheese is packed and pressed to remove any weight. And the fifth process is salting. Salt is added for preservative. And the last process is ripening. In this process, the bacteria, mold or enzyme in the cheese will develop the texture, flavor and the color of the final cheese. And this process should be happen in a controlled environment. That's all. Thank you.
Yeast is a eukaryotic single-celled microorganism called as Saccharomyces cerevisiae, classified as member of the fungus kingdom. Yeast needs food, warmth, and moisture to thrive. Yeast size vary greatly depending on species and environment. Most yeast reproduce asexually by mitosis and many do so by the asymmetric division process known as budding. With their single-cell growth habit, yeast can be contrasted with molds, which grow hyphae. The yeast converts carbohydrate to carbon dioxide and ethanol through the process of fermentation. Now we move to the application of yeast in food. How yeast works in bread. The product formed during fermentation process such as carbon dioxide and ethanol help bread to rise. How carbon dioxide helps bread rise? Carbon dioxide is one of the major gases responsible in baking. In bread making, the yeast organism expel carbon dioxide as they feed off of sugars. As the dough rise and proof, carbon dioxide is formed. This is why the dough volume increase. The carbon dioxide expands and moves as the bread dough warms and bakes in the oven. The bread rise and sets. Next, alcohols also help bread rise. Most bakers attribute carbon dioxide to bread rise and alcohol to bread flavor exclusively, but that's not entirely true. When yeast breaks down glucose, transforming it into carbon dioxide and ethanol, both byproducts are formed in equal parts. So for every glucose molecule, 2 molecules of carbon dioxide and 2 molecules of ethanol are formed, while at room temperature, the alcohol is liquid. But when the bread hits the oven, the alcohol begins to evaporate, transforming into gas bubbles that contribute to the rise of bread. Given the amount of alcohol formed during fermentation, of course, ethanol helps bread rise.
Next, what is mold? The term mold is applied to certain multicellular filamental fungi whose growth on food is usually readily recognized by its fuzzy or cartoony appearance. However, in the food microbiology, some of molds are used in manufacture of different foods and are ingredient of some foods. Molds also grown as feed and food and employed to produce products used in the food such as amylase and other enzymes for bread making or citric acid used in the soft drinks. Molds are major contributor in the ripening of many oriental food. A species of Botrytis cinerea is responsible for the noble root of bread. So there are three examples of molds in food production. First is meat fermentation, second is the soy sauce, and the third one is in the cheese making. The next one is meat fermentation. So a wide variety of molds, for example like Penicillium chrysogenum and Penicillium leguminis, are used to ripen the surface of the sausage. The mold culture plays a role in aroma formation and improve the texture of the sausage. They also contribute to shortening of the ripening period and preserving the natural quality, and in that way expanding the shelf life of the meat product. Inoculation of sausage with molds were traditionally done with the indigenous flora of the southern called as house of flora. Next is soy sauce. So traditional soy sauce is made by mixing soybeans and other grains with a mold, either Aspergillus cereus or Aspergillus sujei and yeast. Historically, this would have been left to ferment in sun, but nowadays it is mostly made under industrial conditions. The key flavor ingredients found in this process are salt of the amino acid glutamic acid, notably monosodium glutamate. The last part is the cheese making. So there are three main types of cheese rely on mold for their characteristic properties, such as blue cheese, soft ripened cheese, and ring-washed cheese. To make the blue cheese, the cheese is treated with a mold, usually Penicillium roqueforti, while it is still in the loosely pressed curd form. As the cheese matures, the mold grows, creating blue veins within it, which give the cheese its characteristic flavor. Example include Stilton, Roquefort, and Gorgonzola. So soft ripened cheese such as Brie and Camembert are made by allowing Penicillium camemberti to grow on the outside of the cheese, which causes them to age from the outside in. The mold forms a soft white crust and the interior becomes runny with a strong flavor. To conclude that there are thousands of different types of microorganisms everywhere in air, soil, and water, and consequently on foods and in the digestive tract of animals and humans. Microbiology is important for food safety, production, processing, preservation, and storage. Microbes such as bacteria, molds, and yeast are employed for the production of food such as wine, beer, bakery products, dairy, in food ingredients, and many more. Conversely, microbial contamination of food also can occur at any point in the food production process, such as growth, harvesting, transport, storage, or in final preparation.